Oh, hey, cutie.
What's up, dude? How
What's
you
up?
doing?
One of these days, we'll get this all in at the
Hey,
right
hey,
time.
hey, hey! Easy. Be easy on yourself now. We were on a really good streak there, man.
We were
I
on a
had
good
no
streak.
audio when I jumped on there. I had jumped on just before you did, and there was no audio. So we did a little computer swaparoo, and here we are.
And here we are, a little swaparoo.
Yeah.
Super Terrible Toys was angry about the spots. Apparently, their OCD was going off there. They noticed that we were in the opposite spots. Speaking of Super Terrible Toys, I'm going to take over real quick and just say hi to all the homies in the chat. Got Super Terrible Toys in there, hopping in right first off. Got Grayskull Toys. What is going on? We were talking about you today, sir. LM9 is actually here. We were actually eating some Chana Alu, talking about Grayskull Toys. Fuck Toys, what's going on, man? Fuck Toys actually has their store going live. We're going to pull that up later on tonight. They've got some shirts up in there. Everybody getting on that. 8-Bit Mike, what's going on? If you didn't notice, 8-Bit Mike, dude, you're honorary Torontonian. There we go. But yeah, I had snuck you in there, my dude. You're always going to be a part of the Canadian Toronto crew. Assembly required. What's going on? They're going to be actually chilling with us tonight. I can see even Cavedwellers sitting there. They're chugging sodas, trying to stay awake for all this jazz wizard. What up? Eric Folkert, Pedals. What's going on? Cool Cat Toyko. We were talking about you as well, young sir. Because for some reason I'm ageist as fuck. I've always got to bring up the fact that you're a young man instead of just the fact that you're a fantastic artist. Sorry about that, my dude. Hobo Toys, what's going on? Hobo Toys #2 magazine actually coming out this week with a whole other secret toy that's going to be attached with it as well. Doc Horror, what is going on, man? Acid 9 Toys. Dr. Plops, you get to bed, good sir. Ireland. The old Irish. I don't know about you. That fucking eyebrows are for winners. I couldn't help but think about Dr. Plops on that one because I feel like that's like an Irish thing, you know. What are eyebrows? I'll take what are eyebrows for 500, sir. Oh fuck! Now we're racist. We're freaking ageist. Your mic's working now. Are you gonna say anything? Come on.
No, I didn't know if you were done there or not. That was interesting as well. Bliss Receptor, what's up, dude? Yes, man. All of that, lots going on, man. Dr. Plops, good to see you, dude. Fixed Temple, what is up, man? That was still a great episode, dude. I was thinking about that one the other day. Rokamashu, what's up, man? Yeah, dude, big show. We were talking about the whole month of July. And how it's going to be talking about assembly required. But, dude, it's way more than assembly required. This thing is obviously a larger event that assembly required is part of. So we'll get the breakdown on that tonight and see exactly what's going on. It's going to be big news. Recycle Galaxy, what's up, man? Ashley Alvarado, hi from me and my nephew, George. What's up, George? But lots going on in the city of Philadelphia. That is for sure, man. Big, exciting time for them. And then we got our own list of stuff to cover as well, man. It's a busy time. It feels like it's a busy summer this year for everybody.
I'm going to sneak in real quick, and I do have a tab for it. We're going to talk about it later anyways. But speaking of Fixed Temple Toys episode and cons, I don't know if you noticed, there's actually going to be July 12th, 13th. My little buddy Fixed Temple Toy and Dead Boy are actually going to be at Collected Con.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Collected Con, yeah. So that's coming up next weekend. I know Zimitko is going to be there as well. He's going to do something for. He's also going to be at the Assembly Required, so he's going to come on after Collected Con and be there. As if we're speaking of busy people, that is one of the busiest for sure.
Zimitko is like one of those legendary type people where when they finally pass away, we'll find out there's like been 5 or 6 individuals masquerading as Zimitko over the years, because one human isn't doing all this, and they can say they've got a fantastic wife or whatever as well, but bullshit. That there's multiple. It's like Santa Claus, mall Santas. Zimitko is there's like a mall Santa type vibe with them. It's not one person.
Agreed, man. Doc Horror, what's up, dude? So what's up with you, man? What have you been up to? Speaking of busy people.
I honestly, dude, today was one of those days where it was incredibly busy. It's been an incredibly busy week. You've already kind of put me in I can't talk about being uncomfortable or physically pissed off or anything because you just outrank me there. I get it. You hurt more. Fine. But it was one of those really busy days that was in a good way, though. I don't see people too often as a toy person, right? LM9 actually ended up having some goodies that they ended up needing to get my way. And so I invited them over for dinner. And so it was actually kind of nice. As weird as that sounds, the
Mm,
housewife was kind of nice, cleaning the kitchen a little bit, making sure my man had some dinner when he got home.
sweet.
I don't
Hey,
think
now you guys just had was it Canada Day?
we did. We just had Canada Day. Yes, absolutely. Right after Pride, July 1st, we ended up having Canada Day.
Nice.
I mean, it's probably not the same as. You guys have July 4th, right? What's July 4th?
4th of July, that's tomorrow, buddy. Yep,
Yeah.
that's correct. That is that's a federal holiday out here. It's one that people get paid for. Most people get paid for that federal holiday. I know it's one of the few. There's only a few out there, and that's one of them. So, but yeah, it's a long weekend for everybody. So it fell on a Friday this year, which is awesome.
Lovely.
Parades, barbecues, parties, all that kind of stuff.
I love that. I love that. I love that. What's new with you? You can't just escape that one. You doing anything crazy for the long weekend? We've got a whole bunch of guests sitting in there, probably be like, "The fuck." But
yeah,
what's new with you?
Yeah, not a whole lot, man. The car situation is still the car situation. It's pretty much wrapped up now. If you guys remember, I don't want to get into a big thing, but my daughter
kind of
forgot during the show.
We're like a real show now. Last week there was an incident by the end of the show where it was like B's daughter's car has been hit. What will happen this week? We're on the to be continued answer of it, and there you go.
Yeah. So that's still a thing. But that's it, dude. The boy got a call from Cal Fire, so he will be he got stationed, and he will be out in the wild here in the next 2 weeks, as a matter of fact. Same time my daughter goes down for her college orientation down at Fullerton. So just busy with that stuff as usual, man. Busy summer.
One, I hope that the young buck's safe out there, man. Fuck that shit. Two, I almost even actually pulled up a tab for that today. I was in my head a bit. I was like, it's not toys. We only talk about, like, we are toys only, right? But DNS has been posting about it a lot. If anybody actually follows Definitely Strawberries and sees their stories, they are a wildland forest firefighter as well. And a lot of the funding that they receive is actually from public funding. If there are those of you out there that are friends with Death and Strawberries, believe in this kind of stuff, hit them up, ask them how you might be able to help, because crazy job, man. Real life heroes. I gotta say it that way, or else I'll feel really weird. I've got to say it weird, or I'll feel really weird. Real life heroes.
And his is an interesting one too, man, because he works actually for the Department of Agriculture, so it's a government deal where they send him. You see these nationwide huge fires going on, and they call people from out of the area, and he gets a call to go do that. So, scary stuff, man. But I like the way that they wrap that stuff into toys as well. They did the Kerfloss piece where they did some donations for that, or all the funds for those figures went towards that Wildland Fighter call. So that was cool. Yes, large
slate tonight. You want to kind of let the homies know what do we got going on? What are we doing tonight? Who do we have coming on? What are we kind of talking about? Do we just bring them on? What are you feeling? What's the jive?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just kind of lay it out there real quick, man. So once we're starting with the assembly required stuff this week, which is more of the Philly Designer Toy Art Festival. We got Matt Cassell coming on from Assembly Required. We got Steve Ford from GoHero Official, and then we got Acori Honzo, who's going to be out there as well, who's a incredible artist, man. This is a guy that I was not familiar with until we started talking with Steve and Matt recently, but holy smokes, dude. The best way I can describe it, man, I was talking to Hurt Toys, and I was like, dude, the best way I can describe it, it's like NECA and Mego, like on steroids, dude. Like if that stuff was like just on another level, that's what it reminds me of, dude, just on another level. But so we'll talk to them tonight. We'll get Cavedweller in here to talk about the online show that they're gonna Kage&Cave are gonna have. That's gonna kind of work with the events going on in Philly, and then we'll kind of do our own thing that we do, the weekly tabs and show some pieces and all the good stuff, man. So it's a full slate. It's going to be like that all month. So it's going to be very exciting, very busy July.
I've never paid much attention to it, but What color are your eyes? They're gorgeous, man. You're like a gray hazel. What you got going on over there?
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah,
Nice of you to notice. Thank you very much. We've only
nice.
been doing this for 163 weeks straight, and it's the first time you've ever mentioned that.
I'm very observant.
I'll remember this
I'm
always.
on the ball.
Nice.
You want to pull these fine gents in and have them introduce themselves to the gang?
Absolutely. Let's do it, man.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Boom, boom, boom. I could have probably done it one at a time and let them actually do it that way, but I decided like, no, we're slapping
Just drop it all in one shot.
Yeah,
exactly, exactly. MJ, you've been on here before. Why don't you kick us off? Kind of let us all know who you are, what's going on.
All right. So my name's Matt. Matt Cassell. I'm the organizer, creator of Assembly Required. As you can see that myself and Acori are in the same room. The piano just is on the other side.
My neighbor.
But so, you know, it's been a long time in coming. We've been talking about bringing a show to Philadelphia for quite some time. And, you know, last year we started tossing around some locations and, you know, I called up my buddy Steve because he's there in Philly. And I said, hey, we're bringing a show to Philly. And he was really excited because they had been talking about doing that for a while there. So that is sort of how the Designer Toy Art Fest came to. It's not so much of a rebranding as it is like a new event because it's unlike Assembly Required in Asheville because that is a more intimate show. This one is huge. We've got more artists. We've got more events happening peripherally that complement the event. We're tying into a Space Lab gallery in Philly there as well. They're having a gallery show, which ties into the Kage&Cave show, which I guess you'll probably talk about later with Cavedweller. So there's just a lot going on, and you know, having Steve and Acori and the team there in Philadelphia to like, you know, just getting things into place, organizing things, like just like there's so much that needs to be done. And of course I'm here in North Carolina, so it's near impossible. Like I was just in Philly last weekend and it was just like we met with Steve, we met with a handful of people, and we were trying to just meet as many people as possible, like Casey Parker, who owns Trouble's End Brewery, and Jose Pistola's and a couple other restaurants there in Philly. They're a huge sponsor, and they're going to be having some catering and drinks at some of the satellite events. So we've really got like a super team involved, and we're going to hit it out of the park. It's going to be amazing.
So I'm going to sneak in because you mentioned now Steve and Acori, who we obviously have here chilling with us. Steve, if you don't mind letting us know who you are, and then we'll hop over to Acori there. We'll find out who you are, and then we're going to dive a little bit deeper into all of what's going on for that week-long festivities. So, Steve, take the floor, homie.
Yeah, man. Thanks. I'm Steve Ford. I own a company called GoHero. We're old heads. We started in like 2001, and we went to San Diego our first year in 2003 or 4. So we cut our teeth with like the Super 7 crew and Funko when they were just bobbleheads. So we've been doing this for quite a while. And we also are, my wife and I own an ad agency or creative agency. So we're one of the sponsors here. So we're sort of using all of our superpowers at one shot to bring together our design world, our advertising world, all that creativity. And then a few years back, 2022, I think, I met Acori. I think I met him before that, but we met at San Diego, and then over time we sort of earned each other's trust. Him, and I won't steal any of his thunder, but we started to work together, and we became partners with an entity called LBO, or Let's Be Honest, LBO Collective. And so Corey and myself, his wife LaWanda, a partner Michael Polis, and Scott Kunzley, who owns Dispersed, who's a distributor for a lot of the art toy brands. We all formed an entity. So we have a lot going on. And Matt and I go back many, many years when he was on a shoot for a commercial for Designer Toys. I don't know what year that was, Matt. I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 57 years ago, before Designer Toys, or when they were still dinosaurs in their pre-oil stage. so he and I met, and so we just have a lot of history around this community and around independent creatives and creative vision. So that's sort of what binds this crew together, and we're super excited about the event.
My goodness, Corey, if you don't mind, I'm going to pass the table over to you. There, we've got quite the crew already. Please fill us in on yourself.
Yeah, I'm Acori Honzo. I'm a sculptor, multimedia artist, like mostly contemporary, documentarian. Like Steve said, I was like just totally in the art space, and Scott Coonsley had found my work on the internet. I think him and Steve already knew each other. They reached out to me. I didn't meet Steve face to face. Like I would go to advice for Steve, because I was just dipping my toe in like the 1/6 scale retail space and production. So Steve was giving me advice there, but we always had like a creative connection. Like you can't turn it off. So it was like me and Steve automatically clicked like that. So when we met at Comic-Con in San Diego for the first time face to face, it was, it linked up again. It clicked again, and like after that, when we formed LBO, it was like, man, I just want to be on a team that's similar. I wanted that feeling like when Image Comics first started. It was like all these cool people from their own lanes. And they come together. Yeah, what can they form? And that's exactly what happens. Like you said, my wife and me have already been creative. Steve, Scott, Mike Polis, and we have a Kwame Holland, who actually is like a hip hop legend from the 80s, and also has produced like multiple multi-platinum artists. So like we literally have like a collage of like just everybody. It's like a gumbo pot of like just skills with like 2 gigabrain people. So you add that with creative, and it makes for a perfect combination. And I'm just basically like a Padawan, where I was learning from Steve how to move in this space and like what to do with that creative energy and how to stay on mission, but at the same time, we have a cheat code that most of the other toy companies don't have, but we still want to acknowledge independent artists and want to help them have access to tools that most normally don't have.
That is a lot to absorb and take in.
You got to unpack all that,
right? I think, like, oh my goodness, man. I think basically they're like that's kind of what we're hoping to dissect over the next like 30 minutes, because there's a lot of cogs and there's a lot of history obviously between you all. My goodness.
Yeah, that's why we figured use the whole month of July, because it's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, and you know what? I'm glad we started here at the beginning. I wasn't sure if you guys should come on towards the beginning or towards the end, but I'm glad we laid it out like this. Dude, like Crumb said, there's a lot going on there.
Well, I have some baby pictures here if you want to start there. And then I'll run some baby pictures. And I'll just say, like, the early years where I'm playing with Migos and I'm like, Star Wars Kenner stuff and like, inspiration,
What was the original spark for this? I know that Matt had been talking about the Philly scene for a while now, and I know that there's a lot of artists that are at the show, at least at the Assembly Required show, that are from Philly, and just knowing the Philly art scene in general, there's a ton of people out there. What was the original spark to get this thing going, to say, hey, I think we may have something here that, just like kind of what Acori just explained. What was the kind of kickoff idea? Was this something that's been brewing for a while, and this is just kind of the first year that it all came together?
I think that Steve's going to have a different answer to this, because they were already developing an idea for Philly before Assembly Required came into the mix. And I had been talking to a lot of the Philadelphia artists here in Asheville about doing a show in Philly. And year after year it would come up, and year after year it was just like, are we going to do it? And then I was trying to figure out how to grow Assembly Required. And there were a lot of things in a lot of impediments in the way of growing the event, and I really had a specific vision with the way I wanted to grow it. And moving, creating an alternate event in another location seemed like the best way, instead of creating another one here in Asheville at another time of year or somewhere else. Like, I really liked the idea of going back to Philadelphia, where I had lived for 16 years before moving here to Asheville. So I have, quite honestly, I know Philadelphia better than I know Asheville, and I've been here equally as long. But I went to school at the University of Arts there, which closed up a year or two ago, and I was talking to them about having the show in conjunction with the university to be like, hey, it's my alma mater, maybe we can do the show in Hamilton Hall or something in relation. Then they closed up, and I was like, okay, there goes that idea. And it just was always popping up. And I just reached a point where I was like, look, I'm gonna shit or get off the pot. So I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna move forward, and I'm gonna make it happen. And I fully believe that everything happens for a reason, and I just keep knocking on doors. And we got oddly enough, we were originally at a different location before we landed on 23rd Street Armory. We were gonna host it at the Philadelphia Cherry Street Pier. And Acori, you were there. Your studio was there for a while, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, originally, yeah.
Yeah, and that was because honestly, this is actually the first time I'm meeting Acori face to face. And that was the first time I was introduced to Acori because somebody was like, "Oh yeah, you should check out this artist that's here." So you had just left, that area when I just got there. So I was like, "Oh yeah, I want to reach out to him," and we just started rolling it around, and eventually, I don't even know why it took so long to reach out to Steve, but I remember messaging Steve and being like, "Oh yeah, hey Steve, we're coming to Philly," and Steve was like, we got to talk right now. And Steve just he was like, this is what we're planning. This is what we were thinking about doing. And we didn't do it. And let's form a team, and let's try to make this so much more than what it was originally. And I'll let Steve take it from there because you were coming in parallel, and we just.
Yeah. I mean, when I got started in this scene, there was nobody in Philly. I mean, there was one gallery, Jonathan Levine Gallery, who ended up going to New York. So there was just nobody out here, and the people that I was getting into the scene with were out in the West Coast. And so when everybody was like, "Where you?" They all thought I was from the West Coast. So I hadn't had this kind of power center out here at all, and it grew over time. So when Corey and I met, I'm like, what? Like, this is amazing. I'm just finding my tribe locally in that sense. So when Matt called me, we went back and forth a lot, and I kind of kept thinking about our vision and what we're doing with LBO, because we're like, we got a lot cooking. And as Matt's sharing his vision with me, I'm like, well, Matt, if you scope it a little bit different, this is what this means. And Matt's like, okay, but I want to protect the scene. I want to protect the indie artist. I said, and I threw out some kind of tests for him, there's a celebrity guy I could bring in here, and they could really bring some audience. He's like, but I gotta protect the artists. Are you sure? And I kept putting if you bow down and worship right now, you might get the whole world. And it's like, the artist is the scene. That's what I'm going for. And it was such an integrity move on his part, and it was just me trying to feel out what his vision was, because I don't think he had articulated it in that way. And in Philly, this was a new thing. So once we landed what that scope was and became the Designer Toy Art Festival, then we could load way more into that. And that's when the LBO team, we're like maximalists. Like, we get on calls, Corey and I will talk, our whole team will talk. We have a creative meeting once a week, and it's just like ping pong balls, going through in the room, just idea. Can build the next one. And then Matt and I started having that same concept. And Matt would always go, he had a great, what was your answer? It was, I'll always listen, and I'll take in the data, and I'll make a good decision. And it was
I never say no. That's what I say. I never say no until I have all the facts. So I kept trying to find no's from him, and he kept going, I think that we can do it. I think we can do that. But always so he was crystallizing that mission for me to trust him and for him to trust me. And so this is a big communal trust thing. And then
we get Jay Martin and Shah, and we had met them and at DesignerCon. My wife found them, and she goes, "You gotta meet these guys." And now you find out that they're from Philly. So all of a sudden, this becomes organic and real, and there's something about creative vision finding each other. You know what I mean? Like there's something about when you start to find your people, there's a magnetic pull to that we started to have that. So that's now starting to like snowball with this crew out here in Philly, with everybody throwing in. And then what's coming out is like, we're riffing on brands at 9 o'clock at night going, we can launch a brand here. We can do this thing. And it's really been some magic happening. I can't tell you about any of that stuff. That's all coming up. But it's coming. Yeah. It's great.
I think what's interesting and very cool that you said there is that, I think like the kind of bootleg resin vinyl toy scene, obviously, right, is a little bit different than the designer toy scene. I'd say all under the same umbrella, but like a little bit different, right? But what you said was that, and I think Matt kind of backed that up with him saying like, hey, let's make this all about the artist. And then you agreed. Is that's a common thread between both scenes. And I think a lot of the scenes too is like, it's about the artist, right? Like not only these shows, but the promotion that goes into it. And it's like, really, let's try to push these artists forward, no matter what corner that you're in. But I think that's a really good, thing, because it is about the artist, right? And it is about where you're from, and it is about being proud of where you're from and representing that as, through as many ways as you can, whether it's through a show or through your art or both, which is what I think we're really getting here. What other events do we have going on there? So we definitely have assembly required, but there is a whole schedule of things going on, correct?
Yeah, it's ironic because like when Steve was just saying, like, we just spitballing ideas and this thing just grows. It really kicks off physically in Philadelphia on First Friday at the Space Lab Gallery. That's where some of the artists that are participating in the event, specifically Philadelphia local artists that are right there in town, will be coming by. I know that Steve and Jay and folks over at Space Lab are dialing in what that schedule is going to look like. Who's going to be there on what day. But that idea kind of made its way into very easily the idea that of these shows with TOYZ Alive, as well as the online shows with Kage&Cave, because that's an in-person gallery show, whereas what we all do or here online, is virtual. So we can do a lot more virtually. So the Kage&Cave show will involve international artists versus Philadelphia local artists that will be at the show physically. So we're kind of like spreading the love and allowing people to get involved internationally, which is really a fun avenue. And then slowly but surely, as we work up to the show itself, on the 6th, Kage&Cave will release the Rancor and all the toys that everybody has made. That will be, I think that'll be aired at the Space Lab. I'm not sure what was decided on that, but I do know that will be the last show before the last TOYZ Live show will also air on that Thursday. And I think that we were talking about having that live at Space Lab as well, just to bring it all together. And then come Friday is the kickoff event at Space Lab, where we'll have, Jose Pistola's there in Philly catering, and we'll have them, there's a lot of other surprises that haven't been revealed yet. So I'll keep that one close until we're ready for that. But so that kicks off the in-person, and then of course, Steve, let you take over from there, because there's also something new to line up when we're talking about the next morning.
Yeah, so one of the things that we're going to do is do a brand building breakfast, kind of a talk, and really it's going to be a QA. So anybody that wants to get up early enough and is sober enough can come into a room, ask some questions, And we'll talk, and I'd love it if Acori can be. I haven't actually sprung that on Acori, so live he can make a decision. But we're gonna and that'll be my partner and my work wife and actual wife and my partner and all these things. We help build brands, so we're gonna share what we know with how to help artists who are ready to level up, how to help artists who are ready. They've got an incredibly great idea. And they're really talented, but what are those sort of zigs and zags that they're supposed to be making to take that to the next level? How to know when they're ready? We just want people to get ready. Opportunities come. We met Jay at Decon. He was just making good decisions, and it was like he's ready. Acori, when I met Acori, Corey's decisions in the Dope Project. Corey, if you get a chance to talk about the Dope Project, the decisions he's making as an artist set him up. Where the competition it rewires the competition and how you go to market and how you think, and it doesn't betray your creative independent spirit. It really helps provide for your family and get the word out on what you're trying to do. So we're going to do that in the breakfast. We are landing on. We have a location. We're going to figure out some food. We'll have a little baby cost to it, and then we kick off the main event. Matt, back to you.
Yeah, 11 a.m. doors for the main event at 23rd Street Armory, and then we're there till 5, and then we've got our after party. I don't think we have anything scheduled between that and the after party, do we, Steve?
We may have some more surprises coming.
We're always finding places to stick stuff. So
I mean, we're developing a program that's really engaging and it's an all ages situation. So come on in and have fun. We're putting together a lounge area, which I don't know if we want to spring that one yet, but we have a lounge with a particular name that we have for it that's going to open up the. Are you shaking your head? No, I can barely see it. Don't say
they're not ready. They're not ready for that.
Oh yeah, they're not ready for that. So we have an idea that we're going to launch, and it's going to be one of those opportunities where an independent artist goes, I want to be a part of that. And so that's the kind of thing we're trying to really just serve the community. And then that'll be spring. And we have a live DJ coming. We may have a surprise super DJ coming. We're working on some other special things. Food trucks. How many food trucks? 2 food trucks and some dessert.
We're going to have 2 food trucks and 2 dessert trucks.
We have we have Eric Moran, the Smoke, who's going to bring his cosplay crew. He's like, if cosplayers had a king, he's like the king's king. Like, this guy is on TV doing stuff. He had a TV show on MTV, and so that's that program. It's going to be shopping, meeting people, talking to artists, getting the Philadelphia who respects. Here's the thing about Philadelphia. Philadelphia respects the working man's artist. You know what I mean? And the deep art. And that's this community. That's the intersection we're in. It's fine art. It's mad genius. It's trash and camp and bootleg and really amazing brands all in one room. So that's what gets me excited. I'm a little of all that stuff. So yeah. And then Matt, what's happening? What's the show? Well, that night.
So the after party, as we've done it every year, is hosted by Toy Box, America's favorite cartoon witch. It's the Wham Bam Puppet Slam. And similarly to walking into a city that there's a lot of people that still haven't heard of bootleg and designer toys. So it's kind of amazing to be able to introduce the culture to people who haven't heard of it yet. But another thing that they'll be introduced to apparently is what a puppet slam actually is, because everybody, every time I mention that, kind of looks at me sideways and they're like, what the hell is a puppet slam? What is that? And it's just such an amazing show that Keith Schubert, who plays America's favorite cartoon witch there, he puts on every year, and it has become tradition for the show. So that was kind of one of those staples where it's like, I know that, we do certain things, and there's really a lot of flexibility we're realizing with this Philadelphia show is it just this, that, and the other thing just have to exist, and everything else is flexible. We could do a lot of other things that involve it because, quite honestly, it's the structure was already there. So having them do the puppet slam afterwards is going to blow everyone's mind. It just will. It's the weirdest, funnest thing you've ever experienced. it's the Fringe Fest elements and the performers that are usually involved with the Fringe Fest. So that gives you an idea of a little how crazy it is. And the next day's day 2, and then we'll probably fit something in there somewhere to stretch it out, you know.
Yeah, you don't have enough going on already. You should probably add some more to that list there, huh?
You'll sleep that night by the time we're done with you.
No
that nice car ride home from the beach, you know.
Acori, I wanted to ask you, man. So it, you know, as much as it is a toy festival, you know, about artists and the toys, there's definitely an undertone of there's a big push on its not only that it's in Philly, but it's about Philly. You know what I mean? And you being there, man, what does that mean to you to not only just kind of show up as an artist and kind of spread the word of what you're doing, but also kind of, I don't want to say put Philly on the map, because I think we're way past that stage already, right? But as far as an event like this to find to put that you know in Philly like that, what does that mean to you to kind of be somewhat of a spokesman for that?
No, you're not that far off. To say put it on the map when you're talking about something like this is not really that far off, because it's all about education, period, just for the whole designer toy or art toy movement or culture. So for me, I like the words first, and we get to do something first and bring something new to Philly. On top of that, something original. I like, you know, there's an Art Basel here, there's a Comic-Con San Diego, Comic-Con New York. Like, they have these major events, so it's like we get a chance to actually create something that could turn into a major event and on board a lot of newbies. So and how the art is presented is not in a way that is a turnoff, or when people normally think of art, like they think of, like, say, the art museum or the art society. It's not that. It's tapping into it from a more from a place where more people can connect with what they see, and we tap in a whole lot more of culture, which is what you can cover across many spans of, from the bootleg to the vinyl to, a lot of independent artists get to actually you know, like I said, just connect and speak their mind. So it's refreshing. It's like I said, another new dope experience. And with that, we don't know. With that, we're able to give artists platforms here that they never knew existed, and also see what type of relationship that cultivates between all those that end up participating. So there's a lot of new things that can possibly come, you know, forward through this. And like I said in the beginning, starting a whole new thing in Philadelphia that people will look forward to every year, including the creatives.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's gosh, there's just so much going on there, and you're right, man. This could be the first year of something, of kind of an annual event that gets to be that really grand stage. I definitely think you guys kind of have, you know, the Voltron parts, so to speak, to get together and make it happen. Acori, I wanted to ask you real quick, man. So you mentioned you know, and one of the things that we always talk about on this show here, man, is looking at this stuff, you know, as art rather than toys, even though you throw the word toys in there. And so that's where it kind of gets muddy, right? And you try to explain it to somebody, and next thing you know, you're all over the place. But, and I think it's the best way to describe it, right? Like, as figures are the medium, you know, when someone is asking you, what is it that you do? And they're just kind of getting into all this. And let's say, like the first video that I watched was that Raekwon video. Amazing, right? And if you start breaking it, you go into the sculpt, and then you start looking at the soft goods on there, and you're just like, wow, man, this is not, if someone looks at that and they go, oh yeah, it's an action figure, it's obviously way more than that, man. What's your initial reaction when going in, when someone asks you just right off the bat, like, if they would just say, tell me about this, what is this? What would your first 5 sentences be on what this is?
Well, for me, I pay attention to language, and I understand that a lot of people don't understand like I'm trying to blend two things together. So like like when I came on here, I said I'm a contemporary artist, right? So if I just say that to the average person, they'll go, oh, okay. And some people will go, okay, yeah. You know. But if I say, yeah, I make an art figurine, they go, well, what's that? And then when they look at it, number one, they're looking at it and go, like they'll have that feeling of the toy, but they'll automatically are looking at it with that, I said it was art. So when you apply that to, like I said, just across wherever these things are, not just what I do, it's just how, that's basically what I say. And I say that to the average person. Now, if I'm talking to a person that, you know, is at an art gallery or that, then I'll say the words, those other buzzwords for them. But for me, I'm more worried about the people who don't understand and don't know and want to bring them in. So it's like, meet them where they're at. Don't, and the reason I think about this, because I think about, it's weird. It's a weird connection, but I think about the guy who played Herman Munster, right? He didn't want to be known as the guy that played Herman Munster. It's like, well, bruh, do you know how much kneecap, like that would be kneecapping myself. You know, it's like, you know, if a person says, oh, it's a toy, I don't go, oh no, it's never a toy. I go, yeah, I chose that, and meet them with the words. So we blend the two together. It's just a simple solution without, you know, causing a whole bunch of argument, and we can just get past that part, and everybody gets to like then have their discussion and their perspective, and everybody gets to listen with no one being defensive of anything.
Yeah. I like to remember that guy as Judge Chamberlain Halla on My Cousin Vinny, a fine piece of American cinema.
What's a you? What's a you?
He was a car 54. Where are you? So he was a
right. Yeah.
There you go. You know what? Here's another random fact about that dude. I did not know that the dad on the Munsters he's the dad of the kid from Goonies that was in Lord of the Rings and all that.
Oh, Sean Astin?
Yeah, that's his dad.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Really? Yes.
Just
Yes.
blew my mind. Someone's gonna have a bootleg figure of that at this show.
Yeah.
Oh no. You're talking about Adam's family.
Adam's family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Astin.
Either way.
John Astin.
Either
Yeah.
way.
Gomez.
Oh wow. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that Gomez Adams was his father. That's crazy.
Correct.
I just found that out like literally this week. I don't know where or how.
You could have had the little it with the ring and solve the whole problem. Just send it off and write the order. You know what I'm saying? Like they have it. It's in the family. Oh my gosh.
Let me ask Steve and Acori. You guys can go back and forth. Matt, you're already very familiar with this. Crumbs as well. But as far as kind of the resin and vinyl toy scene, as far as you know, the majority of artists that you see at a place like Assembly Required, what's your guys' familiarity with artists in that show, or is it kind of a new thing for you guys as well?
There's a handful of guys I like to watch. I love 1,000 Tentacles. You guys know who I'm talking about?
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, you win. You get to discover something later today. It's crazy. In terms of vinyl stuff, my vinyl goes back to the 60s. So like the scene in terms of what's old and what's new, of course I'm blanking. But the 1,000 Tentacles is the first one that came to mind. Matt Dowdy, the whole Glios thing. Matt's an old friend of mine, and so any of that stuff, I love watching them grow and do that. So from him, hold on, God Beast.
Yeah,
he cast one of my original things back in 2004. So watching, and then Galaxor. So watching these guys developing their IPs and getting these ideas, and they keep refining it and going. So there's a couple of dudes that I will track because relationship back in the day. And then the vinyl world, man, I love all the Safubi stuff. I own Mars on USA, so that's something the vinyl world is like something near and dear to my heart. How about you, Corey?
Me, I got introduced to the vinyl world through my partner, Scott. And I mean, I already knew about like the Ron English pieces and calls and that. But what was wild was when I first did Comic-Con, like it was just an eye-opener experience because when I was bored, like he had to talk me and convince me into doing it. And then I did it. And what was wild was, next, I'm sitting in the room with Luke Chu, who does like the bear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and when I'm realizing I'm sitting in the room with all these guys and they're talking to me, and I'm realizing, wait, I saw you in Hype Beast. Wait, I saw you in da-da-da. Then my brain just started cooking, because it's like, wait, I've been sitting there chilling with all these guys that have been doing all these pieces I watched over the past year, but I wasn't like that dug into the whole space, but I just knew everybody's piece. So it went from that, and then I met Doug from DKA Toys, and then he took me down the bootleg toy path, and for me it was like whatever I saw, I was like, oh, I could do that, because I could sculpt. So then it opened up more things. When me and Steve would talk, it's like there's no ceiling for when we talk about things. It's not like, oh, I got to learn how to do that. It's like, oh, that's cool. I start looking at everything in reverse engineering, and like I said, so it's going from that all the way up to Jay's Love Shroud, which caught my attention, because when I saw Jay's Love Shroud, I was like, yo, bro, like the word love, right? If your brand's based with the word love, it's already genius, because like that's something that can never fall off. Love can never fall off. So so it can never go out of style. So to see him like build an ecosystem and a world around that is just wild to see what people can do. And the dope thing about it is, we're not just vinyl toy or this type of toy artist. When you look beneath the surface, you see it's all these other things that we do plus this, and we're just able to communicate and present things and use skills we that came from a normal job or whatever, and apply them to we're able to bridge them with their creative side of us, which not many get the ability to do. It's either stuck in one side of the brain. We just have that ability. We can blend both, and then just absorb more information and just keep learning and evolving on both sides of the brain.
Yeah, man, I think that's something that's really cool that we haven't really talked about too much, is not only that other people getting to see some of these artists on both ends in the designer toy world, and then kind of the bootleg market as well, but artists meeting other artists, right? And other artists getting familiar with stuff that, like I said, again, is under the same umbrella, but maybe not in the same neighborhood, right? Cool Cat Toy, that's a perfect example right there. I mean, Matt, I know you're super familiar with him, but he's really good friends with Matt Dowdy, the Glios guy, and I only know Matt Dowdy through Cool Cats. And that's an artist like, Cool Cat Toys. He's just a kid, man. You're going to see his stuff and tables full of his stuff. And come on, Matt. Yeah, he is, dude. He's like, what, 20, early 20s, something like that. And he's doing original sculpts.
That's awesome.
And then casting. And it's just, the work is amazing, man. And for everybody to see that, I think it's just such a cool thing to put it kind of on a bigger scale. But then the artists, kind of getting able to get familiar with other artists that are kind of outside of their immediate area, I think is really something positive too, especially with what you were talking about, Steve, and answering the questions on that morning. I think for a lot of artists, and we talked about this on our call with Matt last week, was sometimes that's what it is, man. You know what I mean? Like, some guys are just doing this as a hobby, and that's what it is. And you'll see people at AR, I'm sure, with tables who are, it's just kind of like an extra thing, because there's life and jobs and responsibilities, and then they do this other thing too. And sometimes maybe it is just a couple questions that need to get answered. Just be like, okay, well, how can I turn this that I really like into more of a full-time thing? And I think that's going to be a huge benefit to anybody that ends up going out there, man. That's definitely got like designer con type vibes, right? Because I know that they do a lot of speaking engagements with artists and just kind of people in the industry as well to draw some people in. So we're trying to help guys know when they're ready to go to production, guys that know when they're ready to like trademark it, guys that know when they're ready, like, how do you do a good collab? How do you know? And then also there's businesses that are like, we don't know how to engage with an artist. They're too wild. They're like wild animals and they're too exotic.
So they're just not going to get on that route, and we're trying to bridge that. So kudos to Matt. He's putting these guys, all of us, in one room, so that we can have those conversations and we can learn from each other. I mean, there's a spirit here that doesn't exist in a lot of other places, and it's what I had in the beginning. It was like a Woodstock moment where there was no egos in the room. A few years later, that changed, but like in the beginning, it's like we're all trying to learn something and level up, and here's what access looks like. And I believe this. I think everybody on the call believes this, that from that kind of ecosystem comes the best new ideas, where it's going to take the art form into a new direction, and the technology is getting better. And when we're really willing to share that and not like hoard any of that or gatekeep it, man, that's just an exciting opportunity, and it sends a message to Philadelphia. It's a great Philadelphia story. It sends a message to the creative community and everybody else.
I think one of the things that ties all of this together, and we've said it indirectly a couple of times, but I think, B, when you just mentioned Cool Cat, Grant is an amazing artist, and he's developed this skill over the years, and sort of symbolizes
Embolism.
Embolism?
Not embolism. I'm sorry.
It took me a couple of years to figure. I wanted Assembly Required to grow and to show me what it was that was valuable to it and the community, so that I knew what direction to take it. And Grant really is that symbol for me, because he came to the event, was inspired by the event, then finally tabled at the event in 22. And then other artists were noticing how he was doing things, and artists that had been in the scene for a long time. Like I remember Pikmin Vinyl coming over to me and being like, you see the resin he's using? That's really smart, because it's a little bit more flexible in the ways he's doing joints. And Pikmin went back to his corner and started like utilizing some of those techniques in his work. So, not only did the newcomers get influenced by the event, but then started doing things that were so amazing that they were influencing the old heads. And I almost view this room constantly like a timeline at the bottom, and it really depends on when you entered the culture as to what you were exposed to. So it kind of reminded me, B, when you would ask these guys, like, were they familiar with some of the artists that are going to be at the event? Because there's different generations, and we've all come into this game at a different point, and it'd be cool to see that on a timeline, like when you entered the event, when you entered the culture, and what was your influence and inspiration, because there are so many people involved that have so many different elements. Like, for instance, you guys, you had mentioned how you hadn't seen Acori stuff until just recently when we brought it up, and he's been in the scene for a while. And Steve, GoHero, he's been in the scene since the beginning of the scene. So like it's really cool to see how things grew to this point, and how how like someone like Steve looking at this event and saying, oh, that's the original spirit of what we used to have, and sort of like come on board and want to be a part of that, because it's true, it's visceral, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. Being in that room with all of that creativity, with the lack of ego, people are supportive. People, they support each other. They support the artists. They support individuals. There's no smack talk. Nobody's talking smack about somebody stealing somebody else's idea. When I first got in the culture, I was like, what is this? The Wild West? Like, I didn't know where to step, if there was a landmine, who put it there, and what I should or shouldn't say, and who I should or shouldn't involve, because there were just so many egos going at it. And I was like, screw this, man. Screw that. Like, we don't need any of that. We have a beautiful culture that is growing here, and we don't need to be fighting. We need to be there to support each other. We need to be there to love one another. And when this crew starts talking about what you were just talking about with Jay and Acori and the Lovestronaut and the unification of those elements, that's something at the heart of Assembly Required that's always been there, that people loved, is like, It's just one. I go back. Dollar Slice said year one, but it's like it was just like one big hug. You walk into that room, and there's just this creative energy that is really palpable because it's just an amazing experience to be a part of, and I'm really glad that it has continued to evolve that way, that other people now like have recognized those elements that are worth fostering and helping to grow, because it really is a little bit of a renaissance, I think, for the culture.
It really is. Yeah. Oh, I was just going to hop on that and just say it really is, and I can show you the case study for it's going to sound like self-promotion, but the case study for what we're talking about is when Acori and I and Lawanda and Kwame and Scott, we all got together and started to sort of architect how to trust and how to be creative and how to build the protections around that. We have an IP that's our baby, like that came from that trust. It's called Yo Monster. It's hip hop and monsters, classic monsters, classic toys. It's all mashed together, and it hits on so many levels. We just started to share it, but that product wouldn't exist if we didn't have the trust. That product wouldn't exist if we didn't have a community, and that took time for us to go. All right, we're trying this, we're playing. And it was such a great experiment, and now we have something to show for it. And we just sort of debuted it a little bit last year, and we showed it at Toy Fair, and it's a hitter. Like, it's a hitter, and it's going to do something. But really, I'm more proud of it, not because it's awesome. It is awesome, but because it's a product of this culture, this cultural, the ethos behind it, the view behind it. So that to me is what I see this event representing. And I'm
That's
happy
dead
to
on.
Yeah.
Matt was saying a little bit of a renaissance, man, and it's funny, right? Because I feel like that's the other exciting part of this, is that it's still very new. I mean, like when we look over the time span of just time in general, right? Like I feel like if you've been in here doing this for like 5 or 6 years, as when COVID started, I feel like there's a large portion of people who are here starting then, including myself. But I feel like if you're in here for 5 or 6 years, like, man, you've probably seen a lot of stuff going on. You went from, we started off with like when 3D printing came out and everybody was kind of like, I don't know, that kind of seems like cheating. And now it's like, oh man, this guy's a really good 3D sculptor. And now that's a whole art on its own, right? Is doing that. And so, yeah, the progression is cool, man. And it feels like it's all going really, really fast. But yeah, it's just it's interesting to see it all come together in one thing. I think that there's going to be so much going on besides people just meeting each other, people getting familiar with other people's work, and then also the processes that kind of go into that. I think that's one of the hard things to do. I don't even make things, but I could see it being hard, and kind of going back to what Acori was saying about introducing your work and using key words to kind of bring that person in and kind of get them going down one path, as opposed to, hey, I make toys and they start going down this path. I think the whole thing is interesting, and I think everybody that's going to be there is going to benefit. What's the attendance? I thought I saw the venue. What's the venue? What kind of attendance are you expecting? Let's just start there. I saw that there's tickets for different events, right? Like there's a ticket for assembly required. And then there was another portion. I think there was another ticket for something else. So it's multiple events, correct?
Currently, there is a ticket for assembly required, and just like every year, there's a ticket for the after party. Those are currently the only ticketed items that are, and the after party, those that's at the door. That's pay at the door. You can't buy those in advance. That's just the way that Keith has always run that show. But we have been talking about a lot of different ideas, and this year is kind of like we're experimenting with a lot of different things, because there's you might not have been able to tell, but there's so much more that we wanted to do that we just couldn't fit in. There's a lot of times where we had some ideas that came to the table, and it was just like, look, here's the timeline we have, and here's what we can execute within that time. So there's a lot of stuff that we put on the back burner because we can grow this and add a lot of other things. But as of right now, those are the two ticketed events. Is just the main event and the breakfast is a
it may have a cost. We're trying to get a sponsor for that, so that's it'll be just whatever covers the food, like bring your own coffee. I don't care, but just jumping off that too, like I'd love to know what people want to do. Like there's more we can do, but like at some point it hits the next day. So but the idea of doing panels, there's a lot of problems or challenges within this community of technical challenges, processes, just wisdom. There's panels we could be building out. There's ways for us to sort of lend those supports. There are things that there are answers to. There are known problems that have solutions. And like just building out those sort of tools that help people make better decisions. Like we have so much of that within our group that we're just happy to share that. So if people watching this want to hear more, we'd love to know what they're looking for, and add to it. What we do for this year is starting to land. We're landing all those planes now, and there's more to be announced. But I'd love to hear feedback from folks.
Yeah, definitely, man. What would be the best way if they wanted to do that to get a hold of you guys? I know that there's a couple different sites going right now. Of course, you have Assembly Required, and then GoHero, and then Acori, your personal. But there's a Instagram site set up for the event in general. Correct?
Yeah. That one. There's a Toy Art Fest right at the bottom. There's a comments thing. You could throw it in there, or you could DM us on any of those channels, and we'll share all that information with each other.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll all get to us. So that's great.
Perfect. There you go. Man, that is going to be what a stellar event for everybody. Just an exciting time in Philadelphia. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to get out there before we keep talking about this?
Yeah, put your seatbelts on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and come hungry and thirsty. We've got some treats coming, some collectible treats. We have a lot of really fun things coming, and just ways to participate and help everybody have a great time and level up, and show Philly what it's like to be creative. They know, but show them what it's like to bring that here. And this is your stage. Everybody that's watching cares. This is your stage. We're setting the stage for you, Matt. This is Matt's vision. We just came and threw some rocket fuel behind it, but it's going to be a great time.
A lot of rocket fuel, not just a little bit. There's a lot of rocket fuel behind that.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Well, it's going to be a ripper, man. I know that the rest of the month of July and then going into August, we're going to be focused heavily on artists on there. We already got a really solid list of, or pool, I should say, of artists that want to come on and kind of push the show a little bit more themselves and then just the events in general. So, guys, thank you for coming on. Acori, I'll have to get at you here in a little bit, man, and see if you can come on and maybe just do an episode with just you and we can kind of talk about your art and your processes and stuff, man. I think that would be really cool.
I appreciate it. Thanks for just offering. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Crumbs, you got anything else there, buddy?
I'm trying to wrap my head around everything still. I'm slow. You know this. It'll take me all of July just to figure out what's happening in August. And so I'm glad that we're starting now. I definitely agree with you. Yeah, the fact we haven't had Acori on already, and we'll definitely make sure to pull up some of those artists you guys ended up dropping earlier. Where we're going through some tabbies later for sure as well. Make sure we kind of pull those up.
I could also tell you that Eddie, who tattoos everybody, resin blood, will be in his neighborhood because he's got his tattoo shop there. He's also got the template now for this.
Oh, so, dude, I forgot to ask you about this. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, since you voluntarily showed that, and I just know from being in the chat what was going on, why don't you break that one down, bud?
What is there to break down? It's Ferdy, man. It's been the mascot of the event from day one, and a couple of years ago, I had talked to Eddie about doing it. He down here in Asheville was always tattooing people in the hotel room between some hours of the night, and I just was not able to ever make it over to that part of the party. But now we're in his neighborhood, so I know that people are probably jumping on his list to get tatted. And he told me that people have been asking about this guy for a little while. And now he's got a template because I was over there this weekend. We drew it out and he threw it on, and now it's. I was thinking about giving people free entry if they get the tat.
Oh wow!
But I mean, if somebody does that, then yeah,
5% off, but it has to be a back tattoo. That's really big.
5% off.
That's all you get. That's all you get. 5%. I used up my entire back for this. You can have it for 2 years in a row, but that's it. Okay?
Oh man.
Or across the knuckles. Across the knuckles.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good one. All right, guys, we're gonna kick you out of here, pulling Cavedweller, talk all about the other show that's coming up. It's been a pleasure. Boom, boom.
Thanks, guys.
Boom. Boom.
Man.
Oh, hey, you.
Hey.
Oh, so sorry. I gave you no warning. My apologies, dude.
Woo!
Oh.
Happy everybody.
Hey.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, the frickin' shirt, man.
Who's ready for Philadelphia?
Oh man, I think everybody is. Well, gosh, I don't know. I think it would take me probably 6 months to get ready for that, man. That's going to be a killer event, dude. You, my friend, are tackling this from a different angle. Tell us what's going on with your and Kage's show that you have coming up that is tied into AR. What's going on there, buddy?
I don't really know. I'm not sure what's going on. I just popped into this. I don't know what's happening.
Good. Glad we had you on. That's good info.
We're going on. It's on August 6th.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our usual crew will be on there. And yeah.
You did a limited roster this time, limited spots for the sign up. So when you say usual crew, I mean, usually you've got like 500 people on your shows. So, I mean,
well, you see, let me tell you what's going on with that. We had to be respectful of people's time instead of just doing whatever the hell we want. So there's a lot going on. So we needed to pare it down a little bit and make sure that we don't have to go through 150 pieces.
Thank you. We appreciate
You're welcome.
That, actually, that
get to. So we don't get to.
Right.
Get to.
Hey, those are fun shows, man. I'll tell you what. Once you start hitting about the 4-hour mark, man, it's a task.
It gets tough. It gets tough. Eventually, it all just blurs together.
So limited spots. How many spots did you come up with total there?
40.
That's still a good number. That's
40 is the top. We're not there yet. So if anybody wants to do a Philadelphia science fiction themed piece so it's Philly of the future. It's science fiction, but also we're celebrating the great city of Philadelphia, which I've not been to and know very little about.
Well, do you have a piece in the show?
Oh yeah, I do.
Well, that should be interesting then.
I've got a plan. You want me to give you like a little teaser?
Yep, you might as well.
I haven't made it yet, but I want you to think of Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington. Okay. I think Crumbs gets what I'm throwing out there.
I don't know why my brain went right to that scene in Ghost. Yeah, I don't know why. That's exactly where I went though. Maybe that's the issue. I don't know, guys. Sorry.
I got to throw two things out there. Thing number one, my baby is asleep in the house, so I'm in my garage with Farrah Fawcett.
Oh, cool.
Thing number two, this is the second time I have been on the show without Kage&Cave to promote something that we're both doing together. Is he avoiding you guys? What do you think's going on there?
I don't think he's avoiding us as much as he's avoiding you. That's
no, he's not avoiding me. We send each other pissy comments all the time.
Well, yeah, behind the scenes, I'm sure you guys are very close, but publicly, I can see that it's not a thing. So
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking that he's trying to like break this romantic tension between him and Crumbs. Like, I'm sick of their like whole Ross and Rachel will they won't they thing that's been going on ever since what happened at Niagara Falls.
Oh my gosh. We're still on about Niagara Falls. Yo, I've got two for you. You got a baby?
I do. I have a baby. Yeah, I got me a 3-year-old.
I didn't know this. God
Yeah,
damn.
I don't talk about my real life much. I work 50 hours a day or 50 hours a week. I don't work 50 hours a day.
I was gonna say, wow, how do you manage that?
I don't know how I manage anything. I put on these shows and I have a toddler and I have a full-time job. So I don't know how I'm alive, but here I am.
One 50-hour day, I think I might be halfway caught up with all.
It's
my
like
shit.
a click situation where a magic remote control puts me in slow motion.
Perfect.
That answers it.
That would work.
I was thinking to myself, in 2025, nobody keeps a wife and manages to impregnate them. So I figured to myself, he must have some secret. Click.
It happened. God knows how. I learned everything I know from Cosby about being a father, like from the Cosby Show. Not really like I'm talking about the good parts, not the bad parts.
Right. We'll move on.
You see, my son Theo.
You said you got 40 spots for the show. How many do you have currently signed up?
We're edging in on 30.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So, and you have was there a deadline for it?
I mean, not really, but the show's in a month, so if you're going to sign up, now is the time.
Now's the time. Nice.
It is really like, I don't want to be like, oh, it's weird that it's Philadelphia. Like, it's going to be a cool show. I find that a more restrictive theme actually makes things more interesting.
Mm.
This is the reason why when it came to the G.I. Joe show, the third time I wanted to do the all Zartan thing, because sometimes I realized when we did Shrek that if you're narrowing it down to everybody knows that everybody's going to make the same piece, then they kind of have to be more creative. Like, if you're doing the Shrek show, everybody's going to make Shrek, everybody's going to make Donkey. How's your Shrek or Donkey going to be different than everybody else's Shrek or Donkey? How are you going to win the Shrek and Donkey Olympics?
A question everybody in that show, I'm sure, kept them up for weeks on end. Years. This show. So, what's going to be the schedule for your show, man? So Assembly Required opens on Saturday of that week, and your show is when? It
is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Perfect. Wednesday, August 6th. So basically, in deference to you guys, instead of doing our show on Thursday like we have done, we have decided to push it back to Wednesday so that you guys have all the air on Thursday.
Thank you. You're so cute.
I do what I can.
Honestly, I think the best part about it is it means that then we're not trying to see all the pieces as they drop, collect them into a saved folder, and listen to you guys go live so that we know anything about the pieces. By the time we go live, we're like, fuck, did we catch everybody? Have I seen this already? I don't know what my name is.
Yeah, exactly. It all kind of blurs together. So we really, and we might just do this going forward, but we really felt like if we moved it to a separate day, that would probably be better, especially considering the fact that, like, you guys are going live right after our show is going live. So it's like,
and
someone drops their piece late, then you don't get it. Or like, if somebody is like 30 minutes late, it can get missed when you're opening tabs. Things like that. I don't know. I just think logistically it was a good move.
It makes for a long night for you guys. Let's be real. We can complain all we want, but you dudes end up basically chatting to these humans all week. And then you make sure everybody's cool to go live while you're also trying to post your own piece. while you're also bragging about the fact you've got a wife and child and all these other chats with all these other toy people who don't. And then you've got to do a live for like an hour or 2 hours. And then we usually drag one of you in to talk about toys. So before you know it, you're just a husk of a human.
Yeah, I mean, I'm generally a husk of a human already. So really, I'm always exhausted. So like, piling on more bullshit doesn't make any difference.
I think Gray Skull says toys every day of the week. But yeah, dude, I agree, man. Stretching it out into another day. I think that's a smart way to do it. You're right, Crumbs. Those days get so long, dude, especially with the time difference. When you look at it, man, you guys are busy from, God, dude, early afternoon doing your thing until late night when we finally decide to shut up about the show. So
it takes a lot, but you know what? It's fun and it's worth it. I mean, when we were starting out, when Kage&Cave and I were starting out, I know they're not around anymore, but the Behind the Bootlegs guys really gave us a shot. So we really we do open call for our shows, which is it's actually not the standard. Like a lot of people are more into the invites, and it makes the shows big. But you know, we remember the times that we were in our first shows when we were first starting out. So it's kind of a big deal to us to introduce new people.
It's sick.
Yeah.
It's a sick way of doing it, in my opinion. Like, and on top of one, everybody feels included, but also, like, let's be real. If you're just starting out, you kind of feel like nobody's really looking at your page, and you show up with somebody you look up to right after yours or in the same. It just feels fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's a neat thing, dude. And you're right. Those Behind the Bootleg folks, they used to put a lot of time, energy, effort out there, man. They put a lot of work into this scene for sure. What is it about doing shows that you and Cage keep on doing them, homie? Because let's be real, it's a lot of work. There's really no reward. What's the reward for you?
I'm not sure why we keep doing it. It's just I guess we enjoy it. That's pretty much it. We've got like 2 years of shows planned out. They're flexible. Like we can change, but we generally. I would say that generally going forward, we plan to do 2 shows a year.
Toy people are masochists. I've been saying it since the beginning, man. You're all a bunch of fucking masochists.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we tend to have an early summer show and a winter show. So going forward, I guess I'm not letting the cat out of the bag or anything, but consider that to be the standard going forward. We'll be doing one May-ish, early summer-ish, and November, December-ish, pretty much until we die.
Oh, perfect. Dude, now being a part of the kind of the Philadelphia Toy Art Festival, what was it about that I don't know if it was you or Kaj that came up with the idea to have a show that kind of is connected to that, but either way, what was enticing about that to you that made you guys want to go ahead and book the show?
Didn't Matt tell us all?
Really, I can tell you the origin story of how we got tied into it. MJ actually reached out to both of us, and he wanted to have us tie in an online show to his event. That was pretty much it. He reached out to us. He thought it would be a good idea, and we thought that it would be good for community building and sort of bridging the gap between. Really, it's interesting. A lot of our strongest artists are international, and it's nice to be able to bring them into the fold of the scene that they're not really, directly, because they can't. I mean, I guess you could fly all the way from Europe to Assembly Required, but I don't think anybody's going to. Maybe one day.
Well, yeah, and you know what, man? I think that's something that I was, I'm excited for the other people in Philly that get to see, that aren't familiar with, really this immediate scene. Can you imagine, like, not knowing about any of those people or not being familiar with their work and then walking into Assembly Required and seeing tables full of that stuff?
It's wild.
Yeah, I'm excited for those people to get introduced to that stuff. And I didn't want to come across as a dick, you know, when they were on and say, hey, man, I can't wait for you guys to see blah, 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 blah. They're gonna knock your socks off. But I really think that's going to be the case, man. They're going to start looking at some of those tables and be like, man, who are these people? You know what I mean? There is some wild stuff going on. And, you know, if they think, you know, the designer toy stuff is kind of underground, bro, where are we at? We're at the core of the earth. We're way underground. It's
really weird.
Yeah, I think it's really going to probably be an eye opener to a lot of people that like, wow, man, this is way deeper than. I mean, there's so many levels, dude. Like we were talking about, there's just so many levels to it, and just the online show is just a small part of it too. But still, and Kage is not going. He won't be there. No, right?
No, not for this one. No.
Yeah,
I think we're both planning to actually physically be at the next Asheville show. So that's sort of the plan.
Yeah.
Then, I couldn't remember if we ended up ironing it out, so I'm just gonna ask here and look like an idiot. When you guys do your online show, are you guys going live with anybody at the actual show that night as well?
No, we're just going to be doing our usual shtick. We're going to do the online review everybody's pieces, talk about what's going on. It's going to be our normal deal.
Hell yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Unless something changes, but as far as I know, that's where we're going.
Anything can happen.
That's right. It could be just like Niagara Falls all over again.
There you go. Matt said they've had some international artists showing interest. Just a matter of time. Yeah, I agree with that, dude. Especially if that thing turns into like a larger festival, like one of the larger cons they were talking about. Man, I can see people coming in from that. At least people going across the border from Canada. Are you there, Crumps?
I was gonna say, yeah. What the fucking Grayskull and Yo-Yo dying? I think these guys just hate Canada. They hate being in Canada. That's got to be what it is.
Well, this event is getting very big. It was not. It's when we first started discussing this was not what it was at all. And you know, I mean, it's like I'm not going to dog out the decon guys because I don't know them, but people seem pretty unhappy with their move recently. They moved to a new location, and people seem. I don't like I say I don't know the designer toy scene that well. All I know is people making He-Man figures in their garage.
Well, I'll give you my quick 2 cents take on it, man. Is you know, for what we do and the people that we talk to and the artists that are on our show, assembly required is a much more heavily concentrated. That's what you want to see, right? You have if you take our scene and you put, you know, you take 10 vendors and you put them all in the same row at DesignerCon amongst 500 other vendors. That's kind of what DesignerCon is. And you're going to get everything from apparel to buttons to food to whatever you want in there, dude. There's all kinds of stuff in there. But assembly required just seems like it's a much more concentrated show. It's like that one row at DesignerCon, you know, times 50 because it's just all people from there. So for me, it's a much better fit as far as something that I'm interested in and want to try to cover and try to promote. You know, it's a you know, it's a lot smaller, so you do have a feeling of you know, a lot more community and a lot, you know, more tight-knit show, which I think is a big draw for some people as well. But yeah, dude, the move to Vegas for DesignerCon, you know, I don't necessarily think, I mean, if you're flying in, you're flying in. You're either going to Anaheim or Vegas. So but you know, when you go to Vegas, there's a lot of other stuff involved, man. And I think what it comes down to is that's when you got to start talking to yourself, and if you're going to present there and say, well, is this going to be like, am I going to be happy with losing money, or is it going to be part marketing for me? And I'll just chalk it up to that and say, well, whatever, man, it was $1,000 of marketing on a really huge stage, which I don't disagree with. That's, you know, that can be a thing too, but it's hard, dude. I think it's hard for an artist to go there, especially in this scene where you're selling pieces for 30, 40, 50, 60, even $100. I think it's hard to get your table fee, your travel expenses, your food expenses, to get all that covered in a show on the size of Decon, especially when you're flying in. I just think that's a losing proposition for so many people. Now, losing, I'm saying that being monetarily and even like breaking even or going into the black, right? Like I just think that that's, at least for people on this scene, that's just not the case. And that's not what they go for. Assembly Required, on the other hand, I think is a show where people can, go there and plan on making some money because it's a much smaller table fee. And you have a much more concentrated pool of people looking for your stuff. So, all
that
cool
makes
stuff.
sense.
Yeah.
I've never been to either one, so I don't know. I guess you've been to both.
I've been to both, yeah. And I've been to Decon in Anaheim, in Vegas, and then to Assembly Required as well. And dude, I would take Assembly Required any day of the week, man, because it's more than just going across the country to hang out and buy some stuff, dude. It's way more than that. Like the buying the stuff is like, the sugar on top, man. That's, you get to go home with something that's very cool. But, seeing people that you associate with online and that you interview and just kind of the whole community type feel, that's where it's at, dude. You know what I mean? And I'm excited for the people in Philly to kind of see that and get a piece of that and, hopefully start finding some artists that they like and following along and blowing them up. And, at the end of the day, man, I think that Philly scene is, that's a great stage for what we do. Not only for the online shows, but just the artists that are included in AR in general. Shoot, man, if there's other people with large accounts that do designer toys that are interested in us, that want to lift, this area up, dude, go for it. You know what I mean? Like who's gonna deny that, man? That'd be crazy to do that. So
yeah, well, we're trying to build a little bit of a bridge here. It's like I don't know the designer scene at all. I mean, I don't know if you could call the resin scene a designer toy scene. I suppose it is, but really, like the streams very rarely cross here, which is strange since we're essentially all using the format of toys. But like a major soft vinyl player probably has little to do with a resin maker.
Isn't it though, dude? And I think that's something that we talk about all the time, man. It's like, it's that umbrella that we talk about. It's all under this umbrella, right? But we're in this neighborhood, or actually I would even say like we're on this street. There's another neighborhood with other streets in it, and we're in this neighborhood and we're in this street, and we kind of cover this stuff in our neighborhood. We still live in the same city as these other neighborhoods, but we're just different. You know what I mean? And I think it's really cool that it seems like the designer toy world is really taking an interest in, like, who are these other guys that and it's funny when you say and they mentioned a lot of great people, dude. Matt Dowdy, a lot of guys like that. But I mean, shoot, dude, we can even go deeper, right? It's like when you see an NFL like a coaching legend, right? And then they show that tree of like offspring of other coaches that came, and then this guy came from this guy. Dude, I think we're really getting to that point here where you can say, well, this dude learned from this dude and that dude learned from that dude. And it's like, I think it's all going to be good. It's going to be good info for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
And just like they said, dude, you like that dude, Acori, like he has 18,000 followers, dude. I'd never heard of that guy before. That doesn't mean
me either. I saw his work. It's awesome.
It's great, dude, isn't it? It's great work. And it's just weird. It's like, so who do you blame on that? Is it Instagram that we didn't show that? And it's like, well, I don't know, man. Is that really what we do? Kind of, sort of, it's vaguely the same, but it's funny, dude, how many followers people can have or how big they are. And then you're just like, dude, where's this? I remember when I first found Killer Napkins, dude had like 60,000 followers. And I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? And I'm looking, I'm like, dude, he's doing resin, he's doing street art, everything that I am into, he does. And I'm like, why it took me 3 years or 2 years to find this dude until he ran across my feed or even came up in my suggested. I don't know, man.
I swear, like, I don't know, like, if the algorithm just wants us all separated. But it's like, if it's like some girl hustling her OnlyFans, Instagram's very happy to shove that in my face. but like, but they never show me new artists. Like, I gotta dig. I feel like I gotta like pan for gold to find people. I mean, Fortunately, Cage and I put on these shows so people come to us. But I'm not sure I would know half these people if I wasn't actually like putting on shows.
Yeah. Matt had a good comment right there. He said that's an older perspective on the divide between resin and vinyl. AR is bridging that gap. Yeah, dude. And I think that's kind of the underlying theme there of that conversation is that it seems like there is really an effort to bridge that gap, which, you know, not being here before 2020, I don't know, dude. Was that bridge there, or was that bridge even being built? I don't know. I've heard from a lot of people that the answer is absolutely not. It was not being built. It was the exact opposite of that. It was bridges being blown up, you know? And that's kind of where I think the, you know, part of the allure for me is, and a lot of people, I'm sure yourself as well, dude. It's like, you know, and they mentioned as well, even in the designer toy world where it really is about the artists and kind of pushing the scene forward, but also supporting artists in their work. So,
yeah, for sure. You know, that's I mean, the supporting up and coming artists is the best part. Like sometimes you find somebody and you're just like, wow, this guy's got 200 followers. How the hell?
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. There's still guys out there that, I mean, we could talk all night, and, you know, Crumbs could probably think of about a dozen right now where you look at their follower count and you're just like, none of this makes sense, dude. None of this makes sense. On the flip side, you see people with a ton of followers and you're like, this also doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, it's weird. It's a weird thing, dude. I mean, we could talk about marketing all night, but it's you know, I think exposure is probably the big thing that we're talking about here. And it sounds like the Philly show is going to be good exposure on both ends, right? For it's going to be a lot of introductions to a lot of different things and people, which is very cool.
It's like, hey man, I like soft vinyl figures. They could show me some and I'd be happy to look at them. I think they're neat.
It's cool stuff, right? We always talk about that, man. Like we like cool stuff. I don't give a shit what it is. If it's cool, I like it. I don't, you know, not like anything because it's one thing. If it's cool, it's cool. You know, cool is cool, man. No matter what it is. Yo Dying Scott with a K. What's up, man? Yeah, I agree, dude. Been to both. Commercial show feel. Yeah, I agree. Community focus at AR, 100%.
Have you guys seen that the craftsman is pulling soft vinyl figures in his shed?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That man is an innovator. He's pushing. I mean, that puppet. I'm sorry. I'm not sure he's actually a man. He is a puppet still, right?
Correct. Yeah. But you know what I think is cool, man? What you said there is that look how many people are trying to do vinyl on their own now because they saw it on his show and what he's doing.
Yeah, and I've got to. I'm so sorry. Like for me, it's gonna be fucking low tech. That dude is off the charts, innovative. The fucking steel molds that dude's been pumping out. Saruga Mark from back in the fucking day, man.
Oh yeah,
that homie, little young buck. Like vinyl is a weird one because it's so fucking intricate. But the ones that figure it out, it's hard not to just be like, oh, milk me, baby. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's just like, god damn your brain. Like fuck yeah. Like so many pieces. Sorry.
Oh no!
Like, Mosquito Toy Works is another one. Mosquito Toy Works, I think, still is under 1,000 followers, and that they're just killing the game. I bought stuff from Mosquito Toy Works, and the little crazy dinosaurs, soft vinyl.
Dude, next week we'll take a look at. I just got a low tech package in today, dude. I finally got one of those Death Sharks, and what a beautiful package. I'm not talking about just the figure, but the presentation in the box and everything, dude. We'll take a look at it next week. Off the charts. Off the charts, cool, man. I mean, that's on like if you've ever bought anything or seen anything from Terrible Toy Works and their presentation, it's like it's on that level, dude. It's insane. Really cool work though.
I'm really trying to get Terrible Toy Works back on the wagon. Terrible Toy Works has had a lot of personal stuff, I think. But really, I want to see more from Terrible Toy Works. What's up?
Amazing work, dude.
I'm so glad you just mentioned them, man. Yeah, they did kind of disappear, and I'd kind of missed that, unfortunately. What a
I'll still invite them to every show.
Good.
Oh yeah, I think they'll be back, man. I think they'll be back, no doubt. I think the work is too good for that thing to just come to a stop, man. The work is just insanely good. Austin, what else you got for us, man? Anything else on the show there?
No, I mean, show's going to be great. Like I said, it's going to be international. Philly of the future, August 6th. There are still very limited slots remaining if anybody's interested. I'll be making a piece, Kate will be making a piece, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be, we're going to do our usual shtick, but it's going to be a good time, and maybe it'll bridge the gap a little bit between, the people who have never seen this stuff and the people who have.
Agreed, man. There
it is. Homie, thanks for coming in, dude. You're a fucking
Thank
blast.
you for having me alone.
No.
It's really tough going out here without my backup because Kage&Cave's the sensible one who actually has all the good information, and I'm the clown.
They're getting a lot of rest in for our weekend in Niagara coming up, so gonna put that work in.
You guys jumping over the fall in a barrel together?
Yeah.
Oh, there'll be some barreling, but anyways. Toys.
Oh man.
I think this is one of those weird things, the first time somebody comes over to your house and you're kind of you do all the cleaning and all that stuff. You're afraid of making it seem like you use your toilet ever. We're now on the 4th or 5th time of Cavedweller coming over, and they've now seen us basically wake up in our boxers, scratching, sleep okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's a.
Yeah, we got a few guests like that, right? Where some people come in and it just feels like it's so natural for everybody to just kind of.
A couple well-oiled guests.
You got that right, man.
Anyways, you got some sick-ass toys to show off tonight. We're gonna do tabs first. What are you feeling?
Damn, what time do we got? 7:36. Yeah, yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Not bad. Poor Cave sat there for a whole fucking hour and.
And I think the bad thing is he didn't know when we were coming on, so he probably had to wear that stupid hat the whole time as well. And then, of course, right when we cut to him, he had taken it off and put it back on. So, yeah.
Fuck. We fucked it up.
But, dude, the fact that those guys took on the challenge of doing that online show.
Oh, my goodness.
I know how some people kind of dog online shows sometimes, and it's not this and it's not that, but dude, there's a lot of work that goes into that. There's a lot of communication that needs to happen. There's a lot of graphics and alerting that needs to happen. And
there's a reason we haven't done one yet. Everybody can pretend all they want. I could do that. There's a reason we have not touched one yet,
dude. Especially with an open show, you know what I mean? And you just have so many people, and it's like, God, dude, the list just keeps growing and growing and growing. So we'll get there one day. When we just find all this extra time that we've been looking for.
I see you reaching for something. What you got there?
Oh, I got a couple things. How about I just get through these, dude, and then we just jump over to the tabbies and we just, how about that? Let's do that. All right. Man. So first off, let's do this one. This is a bulliotoys. Look at that, dude. Now this one came out a little while ago. I've actually had this for a little while, but I got some other pieces that I showed off from him recently. But he just came out with some glow versions of this, which were awesome. This right here, though, man, last week we talked about how the texture sometimes of the paint can really add something. Now, the way that Brulio does his paint, man, he uses this kind of matte finish paint. And so it does have a texture on it, which I think is really cool. But dude, look at the paint and how crisp that is. I had a very honest conversation with Brulio, and I was like, bro, straight up, man, the paint work is improving heavily, man. If you put this piece up against another piece that he had, maybe that he first came out with, night and day difference.
I really like that sculpt. There's something really fun about the smoothness of that body with then these really angular, sharp cuts. It's sexy. There's something just fun about that.
Yeah, man. Exactly, dude. And actually, this is the first time I've actually taken all the way out of the packages, and I've had it for a little while. But you're right, dude. And the eyes on there too. The whole look is just super cool, man. The white background of the figure, sick, dude. Very, very nice. Bulliotoys, dude. And I want to say the most of his stuff, I might have paid a little bit more for this, like maybe 25. But the majority of the stuff right now he's selling for $20, dude. And I mean, shit, it's a 3.75 collector. That's fucking stupid good.
I was gonna say very reasonably priced, man. For like for Americans especially, getting that American shipping.
Yeah, dude, straight up $5 shipping, across the board at least. Within the state, so $25 total. But that's a sick one, dude. From Bulliotoys on that one. Boom, awesome. Next one. How about this one, dude? So I did not open this one yet, but this is Basement Puke and a Derek. Now, this was a Derek that he had painted. I do have some other Dereks that are not painted, but he put some stuff up in his store recently, and it was just kind of clearing some stuff out. This one happened to be in there. And so I snagged one of those. This is another one, dude, that's just a phenomenal buy. I know that the blanks of this are like $15.
Dude, Derek's a legend at this point.
Yeah.
He's been resin casted. He's been fucking porcelain or ceramic casted, vinyl cast. Like, fucking Derek's dope.
Yeah. I have another custom painted one from Pocket Salsa. But this is a little vinyl piece, man. And like I said, these are always such a steal. When they're in
all of Basement Puke's prices are stupid too,
dude. Aren't they though, dude? I mean, you talk about like, $15, $20 vinyl pieces. That's just dumb, but super cool, man. That will go in the collection of Derek's. Nice one. Very cool. Next one, check out this bad boy. This guy just came in today. This is the healeymade SWWF Bosk figure. This is the larger scale, so up against the 3.75. So you can see the scale difference there. It's vastly different. But one thing that we talked about when we were talking about texture last week was the texture of some of the figures. And Crumbs, I had pointed out to you that the SWWF figures have that kind of like raw porcelain type feel. The 3.75s have those, but these ones definitely have them too.
Yeah, I bet it looks like it, man.
Yeah.
Also, like, I'm so sorry, but like 2 inches, you'd never think makes such a difference till it's side by side. Hot fuck.
You got that right. This is the second one out in this line. The first one was the Boba Fett. I would think that he would do probably the original, 4 or 5 of these first, but you never know. He'll probably keep on doing these.
Does he cast those? Like, you would know, right? Are those factory or are those him, man? Because those are so fucking good.
Yeah. And check out this one, like, and so this one, I don't know if it's supposed to be like this or not, dude. But
I got you. Yeah, I got you. You almost don't want to touch it too much, but you also kind of enjoy that it does.
Exactly, dude. Because look, when I do pictures, right? If I do that, that's cool, right?
Oh, Jesus, Chaz.
But isn't that cool too? You know what I mean? That's like a different look now. So, oh, nice. But yeah, there you go. That one will, like I said, I'm sure there's going to be more of those around the corner. Last one I got, man. This was a cool one from my first piece, actually, dude. How about this one? Stuffbysteve.
I like seeing who you get lately sometimes. Every now and then I see you grab someone and it's like oh, okay. Didn't know they were on your radar. All right.
Yeah, dude.
That's that one, man. Such a classic horror pose.
It's super sick, man. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say there was a couple different colors of these available, man. I think I grabbed this one because I think I could see the detail the most, at least through the pictures of what I saw. But yeah, dude, the scale of this is great.
What did he call that one? What is that?
God, dude, I'm an idiot for not writing it down. I'll tell you that much. But then he threw in this little guy too, which is very cool.
That dude is very cool. What's so hard to me with that? other one is that fucking nose area. It's so Swamp Thing, fucking Wishbone. I can't help but just stare at that now, being like, oh, weird.
Yeah.
That's fat. Sorry, but that little the pet creature is fucking fat. I didn't mean to interrupt that one, dude.
Yo, no, all good, man. The Stuff by Steve, though, man, he's got a lot of stuff. And yeah, dude, I've been looking at his stuff for a while now. This is the first purchase that I've made, but it's another one, dude, where I've seen him, like, he'll post pictures of a table that he has set up somewhere. It reminds me of those Lab Monkey tables where he did a good post last week, I believe. And I think Dre had a table next to him and he just kind of took some pictures of that. But it reminds me of that, dude. Then you always, you know, you kind of zoom in and you're like, God, dude, how can I get some of this? But yeah, Stuff by Steve on that one.
Fucked was asking if that had a light wash on it.
No, nothing, dude.
Nah, damn.
No.
That's
Just
a crit sculpt.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Stuff by Steve on that one. Check that out. That's it. There is a couple other things I just wanted to show real quick, dude. Just because I know that Suki worked hard on these stickers. But he sent some of these that will be given out. Those are some new stickers from him.
Yes. So, and I've got a tab here for it, but when I was talking about the shirts earlier, he mentioned that's going to be dropping on a shirt as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like bootleg that shit. Death to the old toy gods. And then this one as well. That's another great one. Boom. FKD Toys, Scott Suki, and then last, our new magnets. Bam. That's it, man. That's all that's in the box this week.
That was a good score, man. Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm going to show up a couple of things. I'll be kind of quick about it.
You had two as well, correct?
Yeah. So these guys, and you've actually seen these guys. These are actually from LM9. These are a booty, and they're actually from Gashapon from back. Fucking. There we go. And I've got a tab with the name that he told me about them. But basically, these used to be little Gashapons that would be like rubberies that you'd stick onto things. And then, of course, all these tiny little nubbin sections would typically like bobble and wobble depending on how you've got it stuck onto things. So we cast up a couple of those. I know I've shown off these guys before, but a while back, actually, vonfakename and I ended up going over to LM9's studio, and he actually gave us a couple of molds for a project. So one of them was like this little Keshi type character, and I've molded casted a couple of these, and I tossed one over to vonfakename when he was out. But vonfakename also ended up actually casting the one that LM9 gave him as well. So at this point, 2 out of the 3 out of these little LM9 sculpt guys. So whether LM9 ends up doing some or not, I'll have to punk one off him. These dudes are fucking rad, man. And I don't know if Vaughn has posted these before, but I did make sure to grab one for you as well. But this little fucking tombstone, and then this little punk dancer zombie guy.
Oh, dude,
in there as well.
So you said vonfakename?
Yeah, man.
Dude, look at those. You know what's cool, dude? Like, you can look at those colors right now, and there's probably a couple different people I'd guess, but he'd be one of them, right? Because I think that kind of palette is becoming a thing for him.
Dude, those like punky colors on there, all the bright neons. I don't know what the fuck this base is from, or if they sculpted that, but it's so freaking cool, man. Just simple enough, and then.
The stand is great, dude. He did those creatures with the stand as well. And so you tell, holy shit.
So he said it was a gnome, but this is a clown. I'm sorry. Like, look at the size of this thing as well.
Is that solid resin or is that rotocasted?
It's almost cooler that it's hollow, but you can actually see inside what they've casted.
Shit.
So it's pretty sick, man.
Wow.
And again, like those fucking classic, and of course it glows, but like just like those classic vonfakename colors, man.
Now, is that something that he had? Did he make that for you personally, or is that something that he had on his table for sale?
He had this and 2 deers actually sitting on his table. Jazz, trust me, man. That's what my brain went to immediately as well. But he had this and a couple of deers on there. If I'm not mistaken, he mentioned this was actually like a Dollarama snow mold.
So let me ask you something else, dude. And since you make stuff, you would know. The piece that he has with the stand,
Yes.
the smaller guys. Now, was that a piece that was originally like that, or did he make that piece and then create the stand for it? And my question is, if that's the case, how do you go about doing that?
Well, if I had to guess, like he had the figure, and he would have if this was made of like plastiline or anything, and this is just me guessing, but he would have actually like pushed it down into the plastiline before making the mold, so that way there was already indentations for the feet in there.
Gotcha.
I also am just noticing that the gravestone says alone, which just makes it even more badass, in my opinion. And then like this isn't glued on. This is actually like him pouring that pink in there. Like that tombstone is not glued in there. Like vonfakename, I don't like, and this is just my personal opinion. I don't think they get the credit that they necessarily deserve on some of their pieces, man. They're good artists, and they've got an interesting mind in how they approach things.
Dude, you know who he is starting to remind me of? And it's a guy that I was going to reach out to you the other day and ask you where he's been, dude. But Drock, where's Drock been?
Where has Bob? Well, okay, and this is what's so tough in general. I was actually talking to LM9 about this earlier. Like, I personally feel, man, we're in this weird put your phone down era. I don't know where it came from. I feel like during COVID, where everybody was kind of like, want to feel connected, pick up your phone, hit up your buddies. We're now in like this weird era of kind of like, put your phone down, touch some grass. And I do think it's heavily influenced by a lot of like the younger generation that are kind of like, mom and dad, put your phones down. You know what I mean? So any of our homies who have kids, like it's summer right now. They're on summer vacation. They've got young ones, dude, like priorities. Digital shit. You can come back to art and stuff. If you got kids and it's summer, like you're probably a little tied up.
Yeah. Yeah. But you remember when he was I don't know, dude. I don't know why. I think probably because some of the innovative, not I don't want to say innovative, right? But the different stuff that he's doing. I think Drock on some of his earlier pieces, you know, he does a lot of different stuff. You know, it's a really wide variety of stuff that he does. And vonfakename, dude, I think we're kind of getting the same thing, right? Rokamashu said that the bottom piece was he sculpted the base and then he booted the figure. I mean, so he's actually sculpting too. And then his glow work, his UV work, his pores, those that the one that you just showed, dude, those are all, I mean, it's different than Drock. I'm just saying that like his willingness to kind of experiment with shit like that is
I'm with you. There's a Drock vibe. This is another one by vonfakename that's just fucking really good in my opinion, man. Same thing, booted figure and then sculpted base with the boot man. And a lot of the times, like he's doing like his pores, because he's doing a 2-part mold, he's often doing like that sandwich method shit where he'll actually try and actually pour things into particular areas before filling the rest of the mold. Fucking, he's one of those individuals. And for anybody who hasn't met vonfakename yet, if you went to their IG page and something isn't screaming at you right now, I promise you, once you meet him, you're gonna want it all. He's one of those characters, man. Their personality really, if for some reason their figures didn't hit you, their personality will get you.
Yeah. Agree, dude. And I think that kind of goes kind of full circle with the whole Philly event that we were talking about and people that are going to kind of encounter this scene and some of these artists for the first time. I mean, you look at someone like vonfakename and someone asks, you know, let's say that one of those guys is just completely enthralled with what they do. And they say, okay, well, what's your history on toy making? And you give him, you know, your history on toy making from that guy. I think they would probably be blown away. I mean, I think his story would probably be something like, well, you know, I found these guys and I was a fan. And then I just figured one day maybe I can do this on my own. And I started doing it. And here we are, you know. Yeah. And I think for a lot of people that are especially, you know, on another level right now, that's kind of hard for them to understand of like, wow, like it doesn't seem like you've been doing this for very long and you're doing absolutely amazing shit. But then I think the kicker is, why is it so unknown, you know? And that's when you really start to be like, man, there's some true fucking injustice going on here, you know, that this isn't more of a thing, but it's just a slow burn, man. It'll get there, you know, someday. We just got to keep on pushing.
What I find funny is, and as we're talking about this, and I know we have a tab for them, we mentioned them last week, but plops, man, same thing. Like I even actually grabbed a couple of the oldies to have handy, but like when you look at some like these resin sculpts of his blob, and you look at the vinyl that he did going back almost what, like 3 years now, it's like, damn, yeah, man, some of these dudes have been making some real wild shit and just flying under the radar for a lot of us.
Remember the Dr. Plops Rainbow Yawn collab? Yeah, on those actually, I think I have a very small one that I think one of them painted. Maybe Maddie painted it, and Plops printed it or something like that. But
I don't remember. Would that have been during like one of like the Rainbow Yawn Uncle Matty like spin thing, the toy surprise?
God, dude, I think it was before that. I want to say it was before that. Yeah, it was a while ago, man. It goes back a couple years, but
well, damn.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, Plops, dude. Plops is interesting, man. We got to get him on because I think he's kind of just from conversations that we've had recently. It seems like he's someone who's dabbled in both, right? Like
both worlds, yeah.
Kind of started here, went over to the, you know, quote unquote, the more designer toy world, and got his feet wet there. And now maybe kind of, you know, drifting back to his roots a little bit,
molding, casting,
for various reasons, good and bad. So it's interesting, man. It's there's definitely a different vibe, I think, in every scene, which I really hope that like the vibe that's in this scene here. I hope that is one of the things that people envy and they say, wow, man, you know, like that seems like a fucking cool place to hang out. Because I think a lot of the stuff that exists in some of these other scenes that I've seen, it just doesn't exist, you know, at least locally where we're at.
Yeah. What's tough is like, I could definitely like, this stuff fits right into the realm, man. And if anything, like in my opinion, this is like very collaborative stuff. It's stuff like you could paint blanks for. For a second, I thought I was on mute. Also, same as this, dude. I know Fret Brett flies under the radar as well, but fucking Boggy Boys are sick for me, man. I think they're sick. He just dropped this 101 clear green Boggy Boy up in the store. And I know yesterday he actually posted this golden black one. Oh, June 21st. The fuck do I know? But I always get stoked when Fret Brett starts brewing up some Boggy Boys, man. I don't know why. I'm just a big fan of the Bogster. Looks like he cleared out his page quite a bit.
Yeah.
Speaking of basement puke, did you see these?
Yeah, I did.
These fucking classic homages to the bootleg vintage Santas.
Yeah.
Now, is this Christmas in July?
Must be.
Okay. We put it together. Fuck, man. And Plagued Earth dropping these patties. I don't know if you ended up seeing this, but
dude, I didn't see. Maybe I saw that one, but all I know is that the ones that he does that have that marble on them, insane, dude. Those marble jobs on those are just stupid, and not even when they're in the UV or glow like that. Just like
that's sexy.
The marble of them is, I can't explain it, dude. It looks very. I don't know. I don't know the word for it, man.
Mundon is a boss leader.
You know what I want to say, dude? I want to say like his pores on that, or the marble on those, it's like grotesque in like a super cool way. You know what I mean? Like the colors and the marbling right there, it looks very
it looks like when you pull a Band-Aid off your knee.
I was gonna say maybe meaty isn't the right word, but it's something. There's like something very. It's different. Whatever it is, dude. It's badass. Those are sick. Those go really fast, by the way.
Oh, I believe it, dude.
Yeah.
This is what we were talking about earlier. Collected Con is going to be happening July 12th to 13th. Now, I haven't taken a full look at the Collected Con page. It looks like obviously a couple of the homies are going to be in there. But another one where it's like you take a dive through here, and there's quite a few artists in here, I would argue, like we aren't following.
Oh, Zimico says he said he uses dyes for that marbling. I think that's awesome.
Smart, man.
Very cool.
Yo, did you see these fuckheads?
Oh, I saw those today.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Of course you did. It's going to be July 15th, Coffin Bank.
Mm.
Damn, man. Screen printed cards and resealable clamshells. Fun sculpt. He likes those round ball joints, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I see a hide.
He said 1 point of articulation on that. I don't know if it's in that arm or what, but yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
And then this one over, what's kind of funny about that, and I mean, if you want to talk and be all snobby about like toys being art, it's kind of jokes how the 1 point of articulation is hidden with this like magnetic ball joint. And meanwhile, you've got stationary, non-articulated parts for all these pieces that have like all this heavy articulation jointage. It's like,
yeah, right.
This doesn't work, and these don't work. And
you know what's so funny, dude, is I have another piece from him that's exactly that way. It almost looks like a Final Faction type figure.
Right.
You can tell it's got articulation all over it, but it doesn't. You know what I mean?
Wait, I mean, this whole scene, dude, you want to start arguing about intent and what we could be here till next week. You see his Yuckamuck hats? Did we show his Yuckamuck hats last week? I couldn't remember.
We did not.
No.
I did not see that, as a matter of
It's
fact.
fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. Sorry. I don't know. I think that's fucking sick, man.
I see he's gone with the more modern A-frame style hat on that one, which is very nice. It's a very nice look. Nice. Yeah. I like it.
It takes a special kind of head, though, to rock that. I could see them rocking it. I've got such a tiny little... I'm on 2 fucking thingies. Maybe I gotta buy youth hats, maybe, but yeah, this head is tiny, man.
Yeah.
Fuck toys, dude. We made it over here. I wasn't too sure. I knew we were gonna be fucking slammed today with a lot to do. So we're creeping over the 11:01. But
dude,
yeah.
Okay. Suki, if you're still on, dude, he sent me a text actually about the ninja shirt, dude, and I just glanced at it real quick. I didn't really dig into it, but he sent me a picture of that. That's awesome. Ninja Society, dude. Hit him up.
And then, you know, we don't talk about Stormico too often, but Stormico Station has 2 of these available right now. 33 shipped within continental USA. That's a filthy pour on that, man.
You know what I was gonna say, dude, is Stormico's pours, dude. If you go down the line and look at the history, dude, there is some wicked cool shit. And dude, his posts are off. They're always super good. You know what's crazy, dude, is he's not the only one that I've seen that usually does like group shots as far as their pieces. And then you start adding all the group shots together and you're like, holy smokes, dude, that collection is insane.
Their collection is insane, but also you imagine have to put all those back in their spots every time afterwards.
Yeah, he's really good about, yeah, I know, dude, right? That is always the bitch, is putting everything back to where you got it. But he's really good about grouping things together too. That look really good together. Ooh, there goes a ghoul by Bernhardt.
You know, I'm the worst for my piece, and I end up with fucking res fingers on these 2 fingers, man. The amount of stupid times I've grabbed a toy or something to go put it back somewhere, and all of a sudden, as I put it down, it's got a big smear of res on its face, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, mother effer, like, please come off, you know? Anyways, toys. Jimmy Folklore and Ian Rickard and Deep Pruitt just dropped this little fucking tidbit for you.
Nice. It's that one we looked at last week, dude. Those are cool.
Yeah, so they were kind of letting it know. Both figures will be available very soon, so stay tuned for more details. Who knows? Maybe some more Folklorian characters are in the future. Which Folklorian character is your favorite? So it does seem like around the same time as their Jazz Wiz figure they're going to be dropping, there will be some of these guys available as well. I'm not going to try and pronounce that freaking word, man.
Sweet.
But yeah, I know that it took us about 15 minutes to mop up your drool last episode. So luckily, there'll be some available.
They're so good, dude. They're so good.
How did we miss this? I don't know how I wasn't showing these off all week in our stories or something, or one of us, but did you know that friggin' Bootleg Toyco was doing a card topper contest for their Abaki coffins?
I think we might have mentioned it last week. We definitely didn't go into any detail, but I was talking about the Obaki coffin, and I maybe I didn't, but yeah, he had a contest for the header card, and I've been seeing a couple of those. A lot of these I have not seen. I've seen a couple of them pop up. So good, dude. Damn.
Yeah.
And these are all on Bootleg Toyco's page, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but I don't think we just hit all of them, to be honest with you. Like, I feel as though Pocket Salsa did one. I didn't just see it here unless I'm blind. But I know Pocket Salsa did one for them. Lynn's did the original one. My goodness. Now I feel completely out to lunch, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Abaki coffin. I knew I'd kind of seen them puttering on something on the page. But, god dang, look at us, man. 11:05, 7:05, 8:05? 8:05.
8:05 my time. Yeah, exactly.
Not bad, not bad.
But yeah, dude, not bad, dude. We got a lot of stuff in there tonight. That was a good episode. Good starter for the Philly event there. And we still got to do our thing too on the back end. That was cool.
Yes. It should be fun, man. Honestly, my tiny little brain doesn't remember anything. Let me pull it up here. Because fucking, we were even saying it. Prime example of artists we have not brought in. Where are you hiding? And obviously we would talk about like the LBO collective as well. But where are you hiding? My tab for it's lost now. Acori.
Yeah, Acori Honzo.
Thank you. Yeah, just let me sit there drowning for like 10 minutes before.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading. But yeah, dude, that's going to be something, dude. I'm, especially for the town of Philly, we know a lot of people that are in and around that area that are probably going to be going. So that'll be cool, man. The more press on that one, the better.
I'm just excited for the homies. I hope everybody ends up leaving with a good time and a memory and some knowledge and.
Yeah. And next week, let's see. Next week, I'm not sure exactly who's going to be in the house, but it will definitely be a few artists that will be at Assembly Required. So, like I said, when they were on the show, dude, we got a really good pool of people to choose from to get this stuff set up. So, yeah, we'll shoot some posts out next week, but we'll be a similar format, I would say.
Yeah, we better be on the ball going forward. We're awake now.
At least for the next few weeks, and then we can go back to sleep. That's fine. And then we can just kind of,
right. I was even thinking about it today while I was getting the post ready. It's just like, god damn, man, this shit's like a serial killer wrote it. Just all of our posts are just hack jobs and slapped up there, and just like, yeah, we look like psychopaths doing this shit.
Oh, hey, man, it's not our full-time thing, dude. We do what we can when we can.
Well, and secretly, we know that's what the fans want. They love it. They love the psychopath nature of it. Forgetting half their names, hell yeah.
And the fact that we've been doing it for 163 weeks in a row is, I mean, let's just start there. That's a little bit psycho to begin with, right?
We missed a week. Don't lie. Anyways.
No, we didn't.
We'll see all you guys next week. Anything else you want to tell these yahoos before we let them go?
Nope. Have a safe weekend. Come back next week with all your fingers. Don't be stupid. That's it.